Well, hello again, brothers and sisters in Christ. Pastor Mike here again. Welcome to our midweek meditation. Hopefully things continue to go well. Hopefully you're handling the heat wave well. I think toward the end of this week, by the grace of God, it will be a little bit cooler. It's been interesting. So hopefully you're staying cool, staying healthy, staying hydrated. Hopefully your summer continues to go well and that you balance the things you need to get done. Some recuperation, some preparation for the beginning of the next school year if you have kids, if you have grandkids. But that just seems to be the ebb and flow of life every now and then. That in many ways that flow of the school year dictates certain realities. So here we go. Yeah, so text. Hopefully, Sunday was beneficial. I tried to bite off more than I could chew. I like that text. It always seems weird. You like a possession text, Pastor? Well, I like one, the address of the anger, the possession of anger. 2, isolation. And 3, the gratitude. I tried to weave them together. Hopefully they're reasonable, but those are 3, I think, great points coming out of that story. I definitely, hopefully, the gratitude piece of how Christ calls the man who was set free, not necessarily to be with him, but to follow him in sharing gratitude. Hopefully that makes sense. Also, the danger of isolation, how oftentimes in our struggle, our pain, we draw aside, and that's not a healthy thing. And I probably didn't hit that as hard as I wanted to, because that is less about the nature of God and more of a warning of something for us to keep an eye on. And as part of my wrap up of the week before, that's definitely one I want to bring back in. Definitely, brothers and sisters, if you start hearing that call to isolation, like maybe I don't want to hang out with people, yada yada. I'm not saying you need to be a social butterfly, but if you're way too isolated, that's not healthy. We're warned about this. We're encouraged to be in community. That's one of the reasons the church is the way it is. So be mindful of when the whispers of isolation are calling to you. Don't do that. Just don't. Be like, you know what? Maybe I do need to go someplace. Maybe I do need to, play pickleball with some random dude. Well, maybe not a random dude, but you know what I'm saying. That was one of the worst examples I could think of. But God bless. Maybe you don't like pickleball. Maybe you don't like random people. But God bless. Hopefully you know those sorts of things. Now, our texts continue, and we have a lot of interesting stories. I'm hopefully going to preach on the Galatians text because it's a very interesting one. It is in many ways a paradox of the Christian life and faith that Paul brings up about these gifts that God gives us. But the gospel text is also very interesting because and I want to hit on this, is that there is definitely a struggle Jesus has in our gospel text with those that want to follow him. They're missing a lot of the points of what it means to follow Christ. And that's always a good reminder, is that as we continue to follow Christ and grow in our faith, it is good to stop for a moment and take stock of where we are at. I mean, Christ has these individuals that, are wanting to call fire down from heaven. As the days drew near for Jesus to be taken up, he set his face to go to Jerusalem, and he sent messengers ahead of him. On their way they entered a village of Samaritans to make ready for him, but they did not receive him because his face was set toward Jerusalem. When his disciples James and John saw it, they said, "Lord, do you want us to command fire to come down from heaven and consume them?" But he turned and rebuked them, then went on to another village. James and John are missing the point. Jesus never, in any of those instances where people are not interested in him, is there the retribution. When all of a sudden, there is the sense of the need for retribution, we might be missing the point. Then you have, in many ways, as the text goes on, people wanting to turn back. Let me do this before following you. Having one foot in the water, one foot out. Like being in the pool. Or it's like, if I get in a little bit at a time. No, Jesus is not necessarily into that. But keeping our eye on the prize is good. And this is not necessarily meant to be legalism, but a good thing. As part of our life of faith, as we journey, as we do devotions, as we go to church, as we read, as we study, as we grow, it's always good to pause and say, am I going on the right track that I need to be? Am I losing sight of certain things? James and John were getting caught in if you don't accept him, we'll burn your house down, which is not the best evangelism. These other individuals where, I got to go handle this, I got to go handle this. This need to overfunction and handle all these other sorts of things. There's so many things that can take our eyes off the prize. But until we stop sometimes for a moment, have those encounters, have those moments of, hold on, wait a minute, am I where I need to be? Is my head on a swivel? Am I staying focused? We might miss that. And that's the power of the pause. It is sometimes good to take a moment, to pause, to not do anything, not be on a phone, not be on a screen, not listening to something. But even maybe you're in your car, man, turn off the radio. Don't call somebody. Pay attention while you're driving, obviously. I had a friend that tried to pray with his eyes closed while driving. That's not good. It's not how you want to do it when you're praying, brothers and sisters. But definitely, be taking those moments to ask, am I where I want to be? That's not bad. That's not a judgment. That's not a failure. That is that good reality of editing, auditing, whatever term you prefer, your own existence to make sure you're where you need to be. And God is doing that with many of his followers here. He's always working with James and John, Paul, Judas, even Judas, man. Are you guys on the right track? That's the interesting questions we need to be asking. Not in judgment, but as in reflection. So something to think about. But it'll be interesting because this Sunday we will be talking about freedom and what freedom means, especially for the Christian, which is always an interesting question. Well, blessings, brothers, sisters in Christ. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.